It's now time for the morning show on XL7-TV.
Good morning, world. Welcome to the morning show on XL7. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Karen McCaig, here live in the studio with whoop, whoop, Scooter, my partner in crime. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Now that we're actually going, I'm doing all right. Nothing was kind of logging in and doing stuff.
It's like I feel like we've worked like 3 days already just this morning. So
it's been one of them mornings.
It has been, but isn't it nice outside?
The temperature is wonderful. We got some rain apparently last night or this morning.
Evidently a little.
But we did get a little bit of rain.
Oh, but it's so nice and cool.
It is.
So.
It's a nice, well-wanted change.
Yes.
And we need the moisture too, so I'm happy with getting some rain right now.
Yes. Of course, I do love summer. That's my favorite time. But there's something about these late summer mornings when it's cool and then it gets hot during the day. And, you know, I'm really excited because this is college football game day kickoff this weekend.
That's why you're smiling.
I'm smiling. I love college football. We've talked about that before, you and I, but I love it. So, go teams.
Woo-hoo. What's your main team you're rooting for?
Well, you know, obviously the Razorbacks. You cannot live in Arkansas.
I get that.
I've lived in Arkansas over half my life now. My mom was from Arkansas, but I was born and raised around Tulsa, so I always root for my alma mater, University of Tulsa, and go Sooners. That's all I'm going to say to that.
We'll do good. We'll do fine then.
Yeah, because you're a Sooner fan.
I'm an OU fan.
And I do. So. With full disclosure, as long as none of my teams play each other, it's good.
I could see that.
And because I do root for Oklahoma State as well, so I'm.
As long as they're not playing OU.
As long as they're not playing OU and University of Tulsa. My alma mater, so of course I'm going to root for them. But in the Razorbacks, I mean, we have a thing at my house on Saturdays called College Football Game Day in the Ozarks, and I give kind of a recap for my husband in terms of the action, the football action for the day, and you don't want to.
I'm not going there.
You do not want to have to experience that. Because I can be kind of a wild fan.
I can believe it. I can believe it. There is no doubt.
And of course, the Bombers. Do they kick off this Friday?
This Friday, yes.
Season?
We're down in West Plains.
Oh, right.
And so we're not that far.
No.
And they'll kick off at 7 o'clock.
I love high school football too, so go Bombers.
And I know JV kicks off today, so they've got a game. And so football is going. It's
just, I'm so excited. Woohoo! And today is also National Bow Tie Day, so we don't want to leave that out.
National Bow Tie Day.
Yes, so happy National Bow Tie Day to everyone out there.
I don't think other than like going to a wedding or something like that, or being in a wedding or something, that I'd have ever wore a bow tie.
Really?
Yeah.
I like bow ties. I mean, they kind of give a certain debonair look, you know.
I agree, but to me, it's kind of too much unless you're going to a really high, place or a wedding or something like that.
High-end kind of event. And I do think that, like everything else in fashion, certain people can wear bow ties.
Yep.
You know.
I agree with that.
And some people not so much, kind of like cats or anything else.
I don't mind a regular tie, just a bow tie is a little too formal for me.
Yeah. Well, any more ties are just formal. I mean, I can't imagine, having to wear one every day, all day long, because they always kind of look... But anyway.
I hear you. You get used to them.
But happy National Bow Tie Day.
Happy National Bow Tie. For all you bow tie fans, today is your day.
Today is your day. Get out there with your snappy bow tie and, walk the walk.
Of all days, it's bow tie day.
Walk the walk all day. That's what I'm saying. But don't wear the bow ties to the football games because people might look at you funny.
Or do.
Or
whatever's your fashion.
You do you. You know what I'm saying? You do you. But you got to get your football gear on, root for your team, whoever that is.
There you go.
So,
because they're pretty much all starting. So
yes, I'm so excited. Yay!
It's football season.
So, anyway, well, enough about that.
All right.
So
we've already got our guest here.
I know.
Think we should start
he is
rocking and
way
rolling?
more organized than I am, so I am happy
Well,
about
that didn't take much.
No.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. That is true, though. I mean, pretty much.
I'm just messing.
No, you're not. You're serious. Anyway, well, shall we move on then?
You bet.
Our morning prayer, of course, is brought to us by Hospice of the Ozarks, the area's only not-for-profit hospice provider since 1979, serving Baxter and Marion counties, 870-508-1771. And once again, if you're facing, or someone you know facing end of the life questions or concerns or chronic illness, give them a call. They do not only home hospice, but they have the hospice house, volunteer services. If you're interested in serving, it's a great place to volunteer some time to give back to the community, and care coaching, bereavement counseling. Whatever you've got going on, give them a call over there, and they'll be happy to talk with you and point you in the right direction. 870-508-1771. So let's bow our heads and start the morning off with a prayer. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this beautiful day here in the Ozarks. We thank you for your guidance and your love, and we just pray that you will be with those in need today. A special prayer today for those up in Minneapolis who were touched by the shooting tragedy yesterday, those who have lost loved ones, those who are affected by it, and help us to remember that you are still on your throne and you are still in charge, and we pray that you will just provide peace and light to those in need, those who are hurting, and those who are grieving today. And watch over us as we go through this day, and we pray that we may bring glory and honor to your name. And again, thank you, Lord Jesus, for all of who you are and what you are. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, quick word.
Quick word from the Z team.
From the Z team.
Right back.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Bob Zador of the Z team. I'd like to share something with you. Our team didn't need to reach everyone to be considered successful. We only needed the power of one. One person who was delighted with the way they were treated, helping them to reach their real estate goals. One person who told another person who told another, and so on. So if you're ready to buy or sell real estate, the Z team would like to be your one. Give us a call. 870-405-0793, Century 21 Lemac Realty, 1024 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home.
Welcome back to the morning show on XL7. And let's talk about the Z team, shall we? Before we get into the weather. Retiredarkansas.net is their website. And Bob and Linda Zadora and the Z team at Century 21 Lemac Realty, 870-405-0793. And they are so good to sponsor the weather. And shall we go to the weather cam today? Because I bet we've got some great shots.
Oh, we do. I mean, it's beautiful this morning. Look how much water's in that river, though.
Yes.
They got a lot of water coming down.
And again, this always amazes me on a beautiful morning like this. I don't see one boat out there. We should, I say this all the time, we should do a show from the boat, from a boat.
That would be pretty cool.
And that just show me sitting there cruising down the river.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. That is a great shot, though. We're so fortunate. You can go to their website, retiredarkansas.net, anytime and take a look at their cameras. That we're so lucky that they are willing to share their views with us.
You bet. They got both cameras. I've got the wide angle, which is what that is there, and then we've got the close-up one. One moves around to different locations and
That's
stuff.
That's the rail yard there.
Yep.
We don't usually get to see that. But such a beautiful, beautiful view. And they are, of course, experts in the real estate field, and they want your business, and they have loads of customer service awards listed on their website, actually, of all of the great times they've been honored for their work. And they are just more than willing to answer questions, and they want to be your realtor and provide you with some great customer service. So give them a call again at 870-405-0793. They've got the MLS listings on their website, retiredarkansas.net. So on that note, look at that view. Can we just sit here for a while and look at that? Well, I'll go over some temperatures while we're looking at that view. Mountain Home is currently at 61 degrees, Harrison 60, Batesville at 62, Yaleville at 62, Marshall at 61 degrees, Salem 61, Mountain View 61, Calico Rock 59, West Plains 55, Springfield, Missouri 64, Poplar Bluff, Missouri 56, St. Louis at 66, and it's just a beautiful day right now. Water is flowing there in the river.
They got some water moving. There's no doubt.
Yes, absolutely. Does the water always flow swift like that on the river?
It does not this high. They're trying to get the lakes down.
Oh,
they do have what they call minimum flow
Yes.
rules that apply to the dam. So there's always some amount of water that's moving.
So, yeah, just such a beautiful, clear shot, though. We're so lucky to live here.
I agree.
So, all right, well, let's take a look at that map. Looks like we've got some shower and thunderstorm activity going on, maybe coming our way a little bit later today. Let's zoom in and see where we are. Well, it's not quite here yet, but it looks like
the bad stuff may stay a little south of us.
Yeah. We could use a little rain, but we don't need
Yeah,
any.
we may just skirt right along the edge. I don't know. You never know.
You never know. We'll see here. No watches or warnings in our areas today, though. No heat advisories. That's nice. Today, the high is going to be a wonderful 68 degrees, 80% chance of precipitation. Looks like showers and thunderstorms before 2 p.m., and then showers likely and possibly a thunderstorm or two between 2 and 3 p.m., and then again after 3 o'clock. So pretty much all day we're going to have chance of precipitation. Rainfall amounts 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, so not much. But tonight a 40% chance of showers mainly after 1 a.m. And then it'll be cloudy with a low around 58, so open those windows. Friday a 20% chance of showers before 1 p.m., then partly sunny with a high near 78. Friday night partly cloudy with a low around 59. Saturday mostly sunny with a high near 84. Saturday night partly cloudy with a low around 60. Sunday sunny with a high near 84. Sunday night mostly clear with a low around 59. And then Labor Day on Monday mostly clear with a low around sunny with a high near 84. Monday night mostly clear with a low around 59. And then Tuesday's our next chance of showers and thunderstorms. Sunny with a high near 86, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. So we've got some nice weather coming up. Nice weather. Pollen count. Tree pollen none, grass pollen low, and ragweed is moderate. So it's allergy season. And then North Fork Lake water level is 559.25 feet. Level is 7.25 feet above full pool of 552. Bull Shoals is 668.09 feet. Level is 9.09 feet above full pool of 659. Looks like the dam report is not updated.
They have not updated it since Monday.
So that's the weather. And a quick word or full break?
We'll do a break and then we'll come back and do community news.
All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Your senior health care specialist is VACO Insurance in Mountain Home. Retired law enforcement and disabled veteran owner Frank VACO and staff can help you with all your insurance needs. VACO Insurance provides coverage for most carriers in the area, such as Medicare, Affordable Care Act, individual, or any other health or life insurance options. With over 13 years experience and agents in multiple areas and locations throughout northern Arkansas and southern Missouri, VACO Insurance is the right choice to handle all your insurance needs. That's VACO Insurance, located in Mountain Home.
For all things glass, contact the professionals at Clear Results Glass in Mountain Home. Whether you're needing a rock chip repair or a full windshield replacement, Clear Results Glass can take care of all of your automotive glass needs with fast turnarounds at competitive prices. They service business and residential customers and can custom cut any glass or provide you with the right fit for your home windows, sliding doors, commercial glass, or even a frameless shower enclosure. Contact Clear Results Glass today for a quote or to schedule your next glass project. That's Clear Results Glass, located in Mountain Home.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detailed services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
At Hospice of the Ozarks, our purpose is you, not just your illness. We offer a compassionate plan of care that respects your dignity and honors your wishes with countless services and groundbreaking programs. We are committed to improving the quality of life for both you and your family. We provide care and support in the comfort of wherever you call home, but we also have the area's only hospice house when needed. As the only local not-for-profit hospice, we will never turn away a patient regardless of their ability to pay. Learn more at hospiceoftheozarks.org.
Oh, honey, we've had such a wonderful vacation here in the Ozarks. I really hate to go home.
I know. The lakes, the rivers, they've all been great for fishing. Oh, and the boating and the swimming.
And the people are so nice in the stores and restaurants.
Let's call an agent and see if we can make Mountain Home our new home.
Call the Z-Team, 870-405-0793. Century 21 Lemac Realty, 1024 Highway 62 East, Mountain Home.
870-405-0793. Hello, Z-Team?
When you're out.
When the acres add up, so does the work. The Kubota LO2 Series is ready for it. Part of the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience, it features powerful, dependable Kubota diesel engines, performance-matched attachments, and the versatility to get the job done right.
For all your Kubota needs, visit Ozarks Farm and Lawn in Mountain Home.
Welcome back to the morning show here on XL7. All right, time for community event sponsored by Ozarks Farm and Lawn here in Mountain Home, 4423 Highway 62 West. And go on their website, check out what they've got, ozarksfarmandlawn.com. They've got Kubota, New Holland, they've got construction equipment, farm equipment, lawn equipment. They have got a massive amount of inventory.
They do. It's impressive. If you ever drive by there, it is impressive.
Impressive. These people know what they are doing. So give them a call or go on their website. Take a look at their new equipment. They've got pre-owned, promotions, package deals, service department.
That's what I was going to say. That's one of the best things is they're a full service center. So whatever you buy from there, or if you didn't buy from there and you just need to get your equipment worked on, they can take care of you.
Yes. So give them a call. Go by and tell them Scooter sent you. Okay?
There you go.
And ask them to test drive everything on their lot. So on that note, community events, we've got a lot of stuff coming up in September. First of all, the Baxter County Fair coming up September 9th through the 13th, and they were on the show the other day, and it's going to be a great time out there. So fair parade's coming up, and something for everybody out there. So check that out, the 9th through the 13th. And then the Mountain Home Parks and Recreation Sit and Be Fit classes are starting September 2nd on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 1. Fee is $20 on that, and those run through October 30th. I think you can register through Facebook or their website. Give them a call with any questions. And then the ladies of the community are invited to Ladies' Day, Saturday, September 6th at Mountain Home Church of Christ, located on the corner of College and North Streets here in Mountain Home. Lori Ann Wood is going to be the speaker. She's the author of the book Divine Detour, The Path You've Never choose can lead to the faith you've always wanted. Registration begins at 8:30 and the program starts at 9 and concludes at noon with lunch being served. All ladies are welcome for that. And then there is a quilters exhibition at the ASU Mountain Home Shed Gallery, Generosity Stitched in Time, Monday, September 1st through the 29th. And there is a reception Thursday, September 11th from 4 to 6 p.m. Check that out. I know we have a lot of quilters in the area, and there'll be some good information on that. And then Behavioral Health, Thursday, September 11th at 6 p.m. at the Dunbar Auditorium at the high school here in Mountain Home. Excuse me, an introduction to suicide prevention with a speaker, and this is a very important cause. An introduction to suicide prevention, and so check that out at Dunbar on September 11th at 6 p.m. And then Baxter Health Behavioral Health is sponsoring a 5K run on September 13th at 7:30 a.m. at McCabe Park, ASU Mountain Home. All proceeds for that go to the Suicide Prevention and Awareness, and you can donate through them, and 870-580-5588 for information on how to sign up for that. The Knights of Columbus is sponsoring a Paul Bunyan breakfast on Saturday, September 13th from 7:30 in the morning to 10:30 at St. Peter the Fisherman Catholic Church at 249 Dyer Street here in Mountain Home. All proceeds for that will go to benefit Hospice of the Ozarks. They do have takeout orders, and it's $9 for adults, $4 for children under 12, and then children 5 and under eat for free. That's the 13th of September over at St. Peter Catholic Church. City of Mountain Home Hickory Park Concert Series, free entry on September 20th for the Melodicats and Friends from 7 to 9 p.m. over at Hickory Park, 466 South Hickory Street here in Mountain Home. Food vendors will be available, but no alcohol, and I think that may be the last one in this summer series. And finally, Military Service Sisters are meeting at 6 p.m. September 26th at Big Creek Golf and Country Club. So check that out. And those are the community events sponsored by Ozark Farm and Lawn. So, full break?
Yeah, we'll take a break and we'll be back.
We'll be right back finally with our guest.
Be right back. When you're out of town, make sure your pet is with someone who will love them as much as you do. At 201 Pet Salon and Resort, your pet is cared for just as it would be at home. 201 Pet Salon and Resort is the only all-suite, climate-controlled, and air-filtered boarding facility in the area, with private and spacious rooms to keep your pet relaxed. And with over 3/4 of an acre of fenced play area, your pet will receive the proper exercise they deserve. Your best friend is in good hands at 201 Pet Salon and Resort in Mountain Home.
Providing caring, compassionate services at an affordable price is our goal at Connor Family Funeral Home. Connor Family is a full-service funeral home that treats our friends and neighbors just like family, with a wide range of services and options to meet your family's needs and customs. We are the first on-site crematory in the area. Connor Family addresses all the details with no hidden fees, so you can rest assured that you are treated like family for a more personalized and worry-free service. That's Connor Family Funeral Home, where compassion and affordability meet, located in Mountain Home.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the Mountain Home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installation and repairs. Our certified technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom designs.
I'd recommend Jim Brown Company to my friends and neighbors. The reason being they have high-tech equipment. Their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do. And they also send me a report after all the work is done, so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom, you can learn all about our heating and cooling products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
Welcome back to the morning show. We finally are here with our guest, Ted Zawislak. Did I say that right?
Pretty good.
Close.
It's a fish lot. Z.
Yeah.
Is that
Z.
Ted Z from Arkansas Fish and Game. Thank you for joining us today, Ted. And thank you for allowing me to introduce you, even knowing I was going to probably mispronounce your name. So
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what your title is at Arkansas Game and Fish and how long you've been there. And
Yeah, I've been with Arkansas Game and Fish for about 24 years. And so started out as a private lands biologist in this area, moved up from central Arkansas, Little Rock area. And then I guess the last 8 or 9 years I've been a biologist supervisor. So
okay.
I supervise other private lands biologists that in this area.
Now, what is a private lands biologist? Tell me what that is.
In our agency, you know, we have many divisions. We have an enforcement division, which is your wildlife officers. We have fisheries, which is, you know, takes care of the lakes, the streams, that kind of stuff. Then we have the wildlife management division, who works on the public lands, you know, the wildlife management areas, that kind of stuff. And then our division is called the Private Lands Habitat Division, and so we only work with private landowners on private land. So a private lands biologist, what they do is it's like a consultant basically. They come out, they meet with landowners, walk around on their property, you know, give them advice. There's all kinds of federal and state cost share programs where you can get, you know, cost share dollars to implement some of this. As we know, you know, doing habitat work or doing anything, you know, isn't free, obviously, and so it can be expensive. And so there's a lot of people are not aware there's all kinds of programs out there if they own, you know, several acres that they want to, you know, improve for wildlife, you know. So you know, it's our folks just meet with them, you know, figure out what the best program is for them, and then just basically hold their hand along the process.
Provide resources and things of that nature.
And then the other part is education. So we do a lot of workshops. We work a lot with like the Baxter County Conservation District here, Mountain Home. We do a lot of field days, that kind of stuff.
So and I'm curious, as a landowner, is there a cost? Like if someone wants to contact you for consultation, is there a cost involved?
No, that's your tax dollars at work, basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So our services are free, which, you know, I tell a lot of landowners is, you know, it's like with anything. If you're building a house, you hire a consultant, or you're doing this, you're hiring a consultant, you know. The fact that we are free, so to speak, you know, I mean, mainly our only, you know, driving force in this is obviously to improve the overall wildlife populations, you know. So
yes.
I feel like we can give a very unbiased opinion, you know what I'm saying, of
Absolutely.
what we feel like the right thing to do is.
And you help provide resources for the landowner to meet the goal, whatever
to meet the goal,
may
right,
be.
right.
Yes.
So we write them a management plan. We send them maps. We like detailed timelines on how to get, you know, from point A to point B, you know, because a lot of these things are very, you know, cyclic as far as like fall, spring. You have to do it at certain times of the year, so that kind of stuff. So.
How many private land biologists do you have on staff? I'm curious.
Yeah, so it's interesting, you know, our division has about 25 total employees, but like I said, I supervise 7, which is basically from Fort Smith, Fayetteville, all the way to Jonesboro.
Oh, okay.
And then all the way down to like Mayflower, Central Arkansas, and then we have another supervisor like me that's in the South Arkansas. So he supervises 6 and I supervise 7.
That's a huge area, though.
Right. So each POB has 4 to 5 counties.
Okay.
So
wow,
which is a lot, you know, like that. Keeps them, you know, on the road a lot, you know. So,
right.
So.
Right. That is a big job. Well, I know you've got some specific things you want to talk about today, but let me ask first: do we need to do a break before we get into everything? No. Okay. All right. Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about what you want to share today. You've got some specific things.
So, you know, I mentioned that education is a big part of this, right? Workshops, that kind of stuff. Well, in this past year, we have really been, you know, ramping up our education on prescribed fire. So, you know, there was and let me make sure I get this right here. There's a Act 695, which is it came into effect in the state legislators. I guess I think it was last year, about this time last year, and what it did, it was it created what's called a qualified burner program for landowners, and so. You know, let's first talk about kind of what the benefits are. You can kind of show that screen there, and then I'll kind of explain kind of, you know, what the act does for you.
Okay.
So, you know, these are some general benefits of prescribed fire. So, you know, obviously, you know, without getting into a whole big history lesson, a lot of the Ozarks was a very fire adapted environment before. In that pre-settlement time period. You know what I'm saying?
And what does that mean?
What I mean is, you know, fire was on the landscape at a lot more frequent.
Okay.
You know, as biologists, you know, we always joke that, you know, Smokey Bear, he was the best ad campaign the history of man. He told everybody that all fire was bad. But as biologists, he's not really our biggest fan because Smokey the Bear also put such a fire culture against fire that now we have a hard time implementing it the right way on the landscape. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So, you know, it's kind of one of those examples of things you went too far one way,
right?
And now we're trying to come back and implement fire the right way, safely, in the right locations, at the right time periods. And it's like anything else, there's a right and wrong way to do it.
Right.
But what we have now is kind of an ecosystem that is shifted where it's had maybe 30 to 40 years or sometimes longer of no fire in it. And so you have an unhealthy forest.
Yes.
You know, if you want to get a good picture of what this landscape looked like, there was an explorer that came through the Ozarks. Actually came right through the Middle Mountain Home. Actually, his name was Henry Rowe Schoolcraft, and he wrote some journals in the 1800s. And he wrote about, you know, when he came out of Missouri into Arkansas, you know, coming across large expanses of burned areas, of open prairies. He makes a comment in there about you could ride anywhere in these Ozarks on a horse and never hit a lower limb.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, so you sit there and you think, and then we say, well, you know, maybe this guy was just crazy, you know what I'm saying? But then you look at, you can also go look at early surveyors' notes, and so you know we have documented survey notes, and you can actually go back to those exact same spots today, and they write down the tree species that they observed, and some of these notes don't ever even mention a cedar tree, like there was no cedar tree, or very few.
Wow.
And you know, cedar is one of those species that obviously, if you have a bunch of cedar, it probably means that there's not been fire there.
Is that right?
Yeah, in a long time, because cedar obviously fairly combustible, and it you know, it can borderline. It's a native tree, but it can borderline on being invasive now, where you take fire out, and you know, so
that's interesting to me, because to look around, you would think that Arkansas, obviously, we have a lot of forests and
Yes.
wooded areas, and to think that it was not laden with heavily laden with trees back in the early days
Right.
is interesting. So now we've got the need for prescribed fire burning.
Right. And so you have a lot of species, wildlife species that are, they're not just, I mean, they require a fire-dependent ecosystem, and so they're hurting. A good example of one is the collared lizard. You can look one of those up on YouTube or something. It's a very colorful, fairly large lizard that it's only found in rocky outcroppings. Well, you know what we call cedar glades. Well, you know, glades were never designed to be covered in cedars.
Okay.
You know, if you have cedars in that glade, it's probably an unhealthy glade. And so these collared lizards, you know, they need open rocky areas. And so there are species, you know, that has declined because of those rocky areas being, you know, encroached, covered up with the cedar trees.
So it says on here, maintain fire-dependent plant and animal communities. That's a great example of that.
Yeah.
I for one, did not really think about plant or animal environments being contingent on, you know, cleared out areas.
Right. Like the wildflower and plant diversity. You know, if you've ever been to like a glade area that has been burned and it's open, there's a lot of sunlight, it's covered in all kinds of native wildflowers. But you ever looked underneath a cedar tree, there's nothing but needles there. You know what I'm saying? It's very kind of dark and shady, you know. So basically it prevents all that stuff from growing. So,
interesting.
So,
and it also, of course, reduce leaves and wood and other debris that can fuel wildfires.
Exactly.
And that's something, you know, we're always hearing about wildfires in other parts of the country. Is that an issue here in Arkansas, wildfires, generally speaking?
It can be. You know, we see, you know, one goal that people do prescribe fire for is to reduce fuels. And so obviously, if you have a property that, you know, say a wildfire does get out in the summertime, you know, and you have two properties, one who's been burning every 2 to 3 years, which is kind of the ratio we tell, you know, anywhere between 2, 3 to 4 years ratio of burning burning your woods. Well, you know, think of the leaf litter that a place has that hadn't burned for 50 years.
Right.
All the debris, all the limbs, that kind of stuff.
The underbrush.
Versus one that's, you know, been burned every 2 or 3 years. The fuel in there, so a wildfire comes in there, the fuel in there, it's going to react vastly different in those two scenarios. So,
right.
I mean, it still may burn over here in the one that's been burned every 2 or 3 years, but the damage to your timber would be a lot less. And so a lot of people do, that's one of the goals a lot of people do prescribe fire for, is to, you know, to reduce that leaf litter, and in case there was a wildfire in there, you know, you don't have those big fuel buildups, which is kind of like what we see out in California and some of those
areas where they
out west, where they really, you know, have removed all fire off the landscape. And so what you have out there is just these big devastating fire
that just burn and burn and burn
and burn. Right. And so, you know, that's the thing about fire. I mean, you know, it's you know, it needs to be done in a controlled manner, but it needs to also be done along the way, and you know, it kind of prevents those major outbreaks. You know,
and with a prescribed burn, I mean, it's obviously controlled versus a wildfire where it has the underbrush and stuff hasn't been kept clear. Those are harder to control, I would imagine, that once they get going because of the fuel issue.
Right. Correct. And, you know, one thing, of course, we talk to landowners about is putting in proper fire breaks. So, you know, a good fire break is a dozed out, down to bare mineral soil, bare dirt, you know, anywhere between 6 to maybe 30-foot wide area all the way around your property.
Oh.
And so that's what's keeping it, that's what's keeping the fire actually contained in the property. So, that's another one of those steps that we talk about in this class is that, there's a lot of prep work. I tell landowners that it's kind of like going to battle. The 90% of the battle is all the prep work, and then the 10% was just implementing the battle. So it's the same thing in fire. All the prep work you have to do to get it ready to do is about 90% of the job, and then 10% is just implementing it. So.
I see. There is something on here I want to ask you about. It says prescribed fires can improve the quality of the water. How does that? How would that work?
Well, it's by you having a healthy forest, you're preventing erosion, that kind of stuff from along streams, that type of stuff. It's definitely helping any kind of it's helping the ecosystem in general be healthy. So.
I see. So all right. And of course, I do want to point out too, people can go and get all of this information that you're talking about this morning at your website, agfc.com, and very easy to navigate website for people like me.
Basically, you can just type in private lands on that big search bar, and it takes you to our whole area here.
So, but we'll take a break here in just a minute. But what's next on the?
All right. So let's talk about this qualified burner program. I think that was
Is that this one?
Keep on going down, scrolling down there. So there's a good picture of kind of before and after. You can see in that picture, that picture on the left is a shade, a shade. And I know we all like shade this time of year. Right. It's pretty hot, but look how much less plants are growing in that shade dominated forest.
Right.
Then you get over there, that's what we'd call like an open woodland. Sunlight is our friend, and so we're putting more sunlight on the ground, and there's all these native plants that flourish. And we work with landowners all the time where they go and open up an area, and all these wildflowers and forbs and grasses pop up, and they're like, well, I didn't plant that. Well, that was in the seed bank. These seeds can stay in the seed bank for 100 years, meaning they're from back in those days where that it was more of an open, either a highland prairie or an open woodland. And so when you go and open up these forests, it releases all these plants, and they just flourish.
The seed banks can stay.
Yes.
Active for.
They can stay in that. Those seeds can stay in the soil for that long.
Wow, I did not realize that.
And so, a lot of people think you have to go plant something. Well, I need to go plant the food plot or whatever. But we always tell people, especially whether it's a field or a forest, let's take the lid off of it, see what comes up natural.
See what's there.
Now, sometimes we get invasive plants. There's lots of invasive plants out there that we could talk all day about, and maybe I'll come back someday and talk just about invasive plants, because there's invasive trees, invasive grasses, all kinds of stuff.
That would be great.
But anyways, so that's what our biologists will work with them on is come back after maybe a year in the springtime when things are actively growing, walk around, see what kind of native plants that you have.
See what's there. And the point being, native plants, and you got native wildlife, and that's what they're used to.
Right.
To eating.
A great real-world example of this is over at Harold Alexander WMA, which is over around Highland, Ash Flat, not too far from here. That WMA basically looked like that before picture. Very, lots of stems, lots of shade. And there is a natural area in the center of that WMA, wildlife management area. But anyways, they come in and they did all this glade work, opened it all up, and botanists have come in there, and now they have found, several rare species of plants that have never, they weren't there before we started doing this. I mean, they were in the seed bank, but they weren't actively growing, before they did this habitat work. And so, they've identified
Wow.
probably 30 to 40 new species to Arkansas just by coming in there and doing this habitat work. So it's a very diverse ecosystem now.
That is fascinating. I'm learning so much this morning. So, and I think we're going to take a break right now, and then we'll be back with Ted to talk more about prescribed burning. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
It's a liquidation closeout at Sleep Mart. All 2024 Flex Steel recliners now 50 to 70% off retail. Plus, Sleep Mart will pay the tax on all non-clearance sale items. Hurry to Sleep Mart for the liquidation closeout today at 701 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home.
Even on the most perfect day, the unexpected can happen. But with just one call to their local Red Ribbon expert at Overhead Door, they can get their garage door fixed or replaced in a jiffy.
Call Overhead Door Company of North Arkansas today in Mountain Home. Experience the best in Mexican dining. Letty's in Gassville. Voted numerous times as the best Mexican restaurant in the Twin Lakes area. Come out for delicious breakfast served all day. Or enjoy an authentic Mexican lunch or dinner. $1.49 tacos on Thursday. 10% discount for seniors every day. No time? Call Letty's and have your to-go order waiting for you. And don't forget, Letty's also provides catering for small parties, weddings, holidays, or big events. The best Mexican restaurant in the Twin Lakes area. Letty's in Gassville.
Well, folks, have you been trout fishing before?
Not since I was a little kid.
You'll do fine.
Hey, what are you doing?
Aren't you coming along?
See you downriver.
How do you start this motor? I've never been in a boat before.
See you downriver.
Well, folks, have you sold a house before?
Yeah, about 30 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, well, you'll be okay then.
You sure?
Where are you going?
See you at the closing.
Hey!
At the closing.
We should have called the Z-Team.
When the acres add up, so does the work. The Kubota LO2 series is ready for it. Part of the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience, it features powerful, dependable Kubota diesel engines, performance-matched attachments, and the versatility to get the job done right.
For all your Kubota needs, visit Ozarks Farm and Lawn in Mountain Home.
If you're looking for something wonderful and delicious, then head on over to Paradise Cream for a homemade ice cream experience. With over 20 flavors to choose from, like German chocolate cake or sea salt caramel, it's always homemade and delicious. Paradise Cream has something for everyone and also carries dairy-free and vegan ice cream options. So whether you like it in a cup or in one of their homemade waffle cones, you're in for a wonderful dessert experience. Located at 1525 North Main Street in Harrison, right across from Pizza Hut and Castle Rental, or in Mountain Home next to Ramada Inn, because you're on your way to paradise.
Sleep Mart's liquidation closeout is on. All 2024 mattresses are 50 to 70% off retail, and we're paying the sales tax on all non-clearance sale items. Hurry to Sleep Mart at 701 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home for the liquidation closeout today. Your senior...
Welcome back to the morning show, and I am visiting with Ted from Ozark Game and Fish, and we're talking about prescribed burning, and I'm just learning so much, and I hope you all are too. And so get your pen and paper, because he's got some important information he wants to give about qualified prescribed burner program.
Right, so we talked about that Act 695. So it implemented this program. It said that 2 agencies will jointly operate this program, which is the Arkansas Forestry Division and Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. So we jointly put on these classes for the public. I think it said that the goal was around 30 a year statewide, and I think last year, that was started in July of last year, and I think we probably ended up, maybe close to 40 last year. So we already had, I think, 3 since July of this year.
Wow.
So we keep it at like 25 people, so it's a small class. It's a 2-day program. You have to come to both days. Mm-hmm. First day is all mostly classroom. We cover some of the topics we cover is like we start out with this history, the history of fire, explaining to people why it used to be on the landscape, implementing, why wildlife need it, why forests need it. Then we go into equipment, like the equipment a landowner should purchase and have on hand. The weather. Oh, there's 3 presentations of weather. We get into every kind of detail. You'll be a weather person after you get through this. And all about humidity, about temperature, that kind of stuff. Then we get into about ignition techniques of how to start the fire. You're going to start here on the downwind side, or you might start here on this side. We get into tactics.
Okay.
The technical. Then we get into burn plans, which is like a legal document that helps protect a landowner from liability.
Okay.
Then we get into equipment, like showing the actual equipment. Then the class as a whole writes a burn plan for the actual property that we're having the class on. The next day we come back, there is a test. You have to pass a test on the material, and then we go out and actually burn a tract of land and with instructors guiding you, break up into 2 teams, and we actually implement a prescribed burn. We get the torch in the hand of the actual landowners, and so it's a kind of a pretty lengthy process. But after that, we feel like, and then what that is you're qualified, and you have to come back every 3 years and do like a refresher.
To get a refresher?
Refresher course, yeah.
And do you have to once you do all of that, do you have to get a permit to do a qualified burn?
No, the way Arkansas is set up is, this law kind of, the way it's set up was, if you want to access the liability protection, because liability is what most landowners, when you start talking to landowner, you want to burn this field, or I may be liable. Well, yes, you will. You will.
Yes.
You're the one doing the prescribed furnace. So you're trying to mitigate risk and mitigate liability. So basically, the way it works is, you know how the way it is. You can be sued for anything, obviously, but if for say some reason that a burn did get out, and let's just say burned a barn down, like the barn was next to the field, and some hay bales inside of it caught on fire or something. If that person went to court for that particular issue or something, if if you had 2 individuals there, one who just didn't do anything, I just lit it and went to town,
Right.
And then the next person says, well, I'm a qualified burner. I went through this training. I had a burn plan. I checked the weather the day before, the day of. This is the actual, I called my burn into the Arkansas Forestry Division. Due to an act of God, there was a wind shift. A thunderstorm came in. It changed the wind direction. We got it out as soon as we can. That's showing that that this landowner did all their due diligence, to do everything correctly.
Yes.
And so, hopefully, in that particular case, that would provide that landowner protection.
As opposed to just somebody going out and
lit the match and just walked away.
Walked away.
People still do that.
So, yeah, I'm sure. Please don't do that. So the qualified prescribed burners, talk a little bit about when is the next class coming up, and
okay, so can you go to that calendar? I think it was the next test.
Let me see. No, not that one.
No. That one right there. Yeah. So if you go to agfc.com and you go to the top right corner, there's a little deal that says events. It takes you to this page here, but basically any of these you can see we just completed one in Yellville, I guess about 2 weeks ago. The next one coming up there, that's in South Arkansas, so probably folks watching this won't. But we're going to be having some more between now. We'll probably have 2 or 3 here in this area before the end of the year. So you just have to kind of keep an eye out
So
for.
either check out it'll be listed on the website and on the Facebook page
on
as
the
well?
Facebook page, right?
And they are free of charge?
They are free of charge. Yeah, we have a grant that pays, that comes from the legislature that funds, the meals for the actual class and the the materials and that kind of stuff. So it's free of charge to the landowner, and it's like I said, we just ask that come committed to stay both full days, because it's it starts at 9 and probably goes to 3 or 4 the first day, and then about the same the second day. So
And they do have to register in advance?
Yeah, you do have to register
Okay.
register in advance, and about 25 days before the events normally when they start coming out, and so people will register for those. And you can click on that one, that Humphrey one there. It'll kind of show you that where the green mark, where the green text. Yeah, so that kind of tells you a little bit, gives you an example, kind of what it tells you a little bit right there about the course,
And it says after passing the class, you receive the certification.
Yeah,
to be
you
a
receive an ID
qualified-
card. It has a unique, ID number, kind of like a driver's license number. That's to yourself. So.
And it does say minimum age is 14.
Right.
So
with the class, and that's to actually, take the test. Like I said, there is a test that you take, and it's kind of like Hunter Ed. It's if people are familiar with the Hunter Ed, it's probably on that grade level. The test is, and so.
14 to 99. So if you're over 99 years old,
well, I think
you
that's
have
just
to get special permission.
Well, I
I'm
think that's just a part of the computer program there, but so.
We have just a couple more minutes, so let's talk about anything else you might have.
Let's switch gears to our expo event.
Okay.
So there you go from that, and click right there.
And
so,
this is the Facebook page.
Yeah, and so this is in Central Arkansas, which I realize a lot of the viewers here are obviously in North Arkansas, but this is an all-day event. It's a kind of a first of its kind event that's going to be happening. We kind of look at it as our kickoff to deer season, which deer season starts the 27th.
It'll be here right around the corner.
Right, and so, but this is a big lantern. We're bringing in a lot of national speakers. If you could flip over to the agenda, or I think she has to do it. Flip over to the agenda. There you go. And so that we're starting out with a big catfish dinner. Everybody likes a catfish dinner.
That's a drawing card right there.
And so there is a cost to this event. Obviously, it's $25 a person, and I think $40 for a couple. And you can register on our website. But we're bringing in some real national speakers. We're bringing in Kip Adams with the National Deer Association. He's been on a lot of podcasts, YouTube, that kind of stuff, and that kind of a national as a keynote speaker. We're doing some Lantern Awards, playing some videos that we've made of highlighting some of our outstanding landowners in Arkansas, and we've recently had 2 that have won in the last 2 years. DeJuan Garrison from Marion County and Representative Jack Fortner from Marion County. Both were one of our Natural State Lantern Award winners in the past year. So,
and that's coming up September 26th, and it's at the Benton Event Center, and 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and it's $25 per person or $40.
Right, for a couple.
And that sounds like a very informative. It says equipment demonstrations as well.
Right, we're gonna have some drone demonstrations. There's drones out there that can drop fire. Actually,
Wow.
there's drones that can spray fields. Like, say, if you need a field spray, it's very precise. It puts out the exact amount of herbicide. And so they'll have some, equipment that's kind of cutting edge stuff that landowners could see. That's what I'm trying to say. You'll see stuff here, and we got trade show vendors, that kind of stuff. So like I said, maybe people for this part of the state, go down. It's on a Friday. Go down there, spend the weekend in Little Rock.
Excellent.
It's right down from Bass Pro Shop. Go visit that.
Well, Ted, we're about out of time. I mean, it's just a wealth of information. I hope you'll come back and share some more with us, because I know I've learned a lot. And so thank you for joining. Check out the Facebook page or the website for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. And thank you for joining us today. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day out there.